Okay, so that was a very long intro, like an hour long, but I'll actually keep that, but I'll put the timestamp so people can skip all this. So yeah, that was just me going into a lot of my thoughts about this since, and let's actually look at this. So it has 107 likes, 143 dislikes, so that's perfectly fine with me. At the beginning, it was mostly getting likes. That's how it gets suggested to people, and then it started getting a lot, even like with the comments. Like it started off very positive, and then it started to snowball with a lot of negativity, so that's fine. Right, that's the price that comes with something being successful or popular. Like that's fine, but yeah, I triggered a lot of people with this. So let's actually look at the comments. I'll rebut them. 155. See, I even was aware of the kind of reaction I get though, because I call it Diablo hater, and some of the people took that the wrong way. It doesn't mean that I hate Diablo games specifically, like the Diablo series. It meant like the style of game, the genre of game, not so some people said like, oh well, Diablo would be a better fit for you because it's just more simple-minded or whatever. But when I say Diablo hater, I mean the whole genre, and I don't actually hate them necessarily. But yeah, so we got 10,000 views, 155 comments. This was posted like right around Halloween last year. I'll go through the comments and just look through them briefly. I responded to a lot of them, in fact almost all of them. But see, it starts off all positive, so this is from like oldest to newest, right? So talking about enemies in PoE getting to you fast, reminding you of the Soul Eater mod elites can have. Okay, I don't necessarily want to spoil stuff, so sometimes I'll like it, but I'll skip. I'm not even reading entirely. Nemesis. This is all mostly positive stuff. Volatile, Deadball. Okay, I don't want to necessarily spoil stuff. Cool video, maybe edit it down. I believe in doing stuff in long form, though, like that, so it's deliberate. Cool video, enjoy your new family. See, these are being all nice and supportive. I'm sure you figured out by now, FYI, you created isn't hardcore character, just normal character, but I guess it's a hardcore character for me, because if I die, I delete them anyway. But play the game till the end, please. I guess I did let this guy down. See if you like the game or not. Most people leave the game without completing Act 1 through 10. That's basically tutorial. Yeah, like they're even saying that. Like I'm wrong for calling this the tutorial area. Whole campaign should not be tutorial. That's bad game design. What he meant by tutorial, PoE is a huge game. Okay, all this is just normal stuff. Hope to see you soon, fellow Exile. That's my biggest complaint. Waypoint. See, like, look how it just changes 180. Everyone's being positive and normal here, and then they start to lose their fucking mind. And it's hilarious. That's my biggest complaint. Waypoint. I don't know what exactly he's referring to. Probably something I said in there, but as well as it's a 3-hour video, so like 4-hour video. So how do I even know? I literally won't even have time to necessarily play this, but I'll do a brief session of actual gameplay. But this is more important because this is kind of a big, I don't know, it represents a lot of things that are wrong with certain gaming communities. So biggest complaint is the waypoint mapping system, resetting of enemies and map layout changes. I had to backtrack and I end up getting really annoyed. Plus I was bored. I don't know exactly what everybody's talking about. Map resets after 4 minutes. So these are mostly positive. Are you one of those Americans that don't know where your country is on the world map? If the answer is yes, then the video makes sense. Okay, so he's assuming, how do you even know whether I'm American or not? I'm playing games blind. Let's read some of these. What he meant is you're unbelievably closed-minded and stupid. I'm so closed-minded that even though I dislike the Diablo genre, I have it as my channel art, or maybe I even say that. And I agree. Your view on top-down hack and slash game alone proves it. But see, I'm willing to still consider them and play them. You lack the mental capacity to understand, so explain it then. Explain it. Skipping tutorial windows, again, dude, leads to you not understanding the core mechanics of the game. I understand the core mechanic of a hack and slash game. You run around and you hack and slash stuff, and if you don't like it, none of that stuff. Half-assed reading of descriptions of spells, I assume the text is too much, overload your brain. Again, maybe I was in a hurry because I only had 3 hours to play, but really it's more like in that first session, I wasn't trying to overemphasize that, especially since it was a one-off session that I explained, right? I'm only trying to play it once. It's barely only about the combat. It's called a hack and slash game. What does that mean? You're hacking and slashing. Unbelievable depth. I'm not denying that, but it probably isn't that important in the early game. Item crafting, other things. Unedited coughing and burping. Like, dude, who do you think I am? A big channel that I can afford to do that? Watching this video was a big pain on the brain. Sheer ignorance and disgusting sound. I didn't really notice that either. I guess I just don't think about it as I'm doing it. There was no commitment to playing this game blind. It was 100% blind. Commitment into making a trashy video of you rushing. Again, all I did was beat Brutus. Apparently people have beaten the game in that much time, so I'm using one comment against another, though we'll see that later. Like, Not understanding anything, made it to 30 and gave up. Okay, I mean, you can skip around. It's hard to say I'm closed-minded when, despite my repeated criticism of the genre, I use Diablo as my channel icon and primary channel art, and even use the original Diablo as a way to avoid playing a game I avoided to introduce first playthrough permadeath. Basically, some of my objectivity, I'm still willing to play the games, give them their fair shot. I played these games, but people maybe misinterpret that. That doesn't mean I played them a lot. Like, I played them very briefly. I've enjoyed plenty of aspects despite having issues with overall design, philosophy of the genre. There's missing nuance in your interpretation. It's possible for me to have issues with, and I mean, obviously these are just my responses anyway, so I don't know if I want to read all of them, but what's missing is nuance. Criticize something without completely hating or dismissing it, as I'm even mocking in the title. The game is good of its kind. I'm even praising it. I'm even enjoying it. I normally very slow, methodical, read everything for the sake of time. I only a tutorial intro. I didn't feel the need to do so much. Try a game I haven't played. Opens the door and make a series out of it later. I never questioned depth, even praised it. A lot of what you're saying is straw manning. I hardly think I was rushing. I spent 3 hours just to kill Brutus. Finished effectively what felt like just the tutorial area. I generally enjoyed the experience. I don't see the problem as far as editing. I don't have the time or resources. Yeah, I was 8 months late in even uploading this, although nobody seemed to notice or care. Maybe there weren't too many updates that would make that obvious, or I was being a bit snarky at the end. Sorry, I can't afford an editor, dude. Like, I'm literally not even monetized on my YouTube or nothing. No way you played any of Diablos. Again, not in great depth like this. There's no way. Actually, I take it back. Diablo games are so complete. Oh, yeah, I used this to troll him, too. Completely easy. I completely understand how you can close your eyes and play the game, because Blizzard doesn't know how to design the games and literally beat Diablo games blindfolded. I agree. Diablo games suck, as I'm the Diablo hater. Thank you for agreeing with me. Diablo games and every game of that genre are just shit. This is painful to watch. I'm quite certain 1 + 1 beyond your comprehension, or you enjoy farming hate for content. I mean, as the title would suggest. Could you elaborate? I'm not sure. Yeah, you're not giving me anything to work with there. Holy shit, doesn't understand a basic mode selection screen. And again, it doesn't matter. I was sort of making fun of it too, because it's like, oh, your character doesn't come back, because like I'm doing a permadeath first playthrough anyway, so it doesn't matter. Complaints ARPGs are what they are since Diablo is 1, are since Diablo 1, but I mean, that's a fair criticism I'm making. You're not addressing it. Can't figure out that move only makes you move. I still don't understand that, because that's how these games typically are made, like where attack and move are overlapping, but I'm sure they've improved that. I don't remember what that was really about. It doesn't find the obvious starting position of the skill tree. Yeah, that I was so flabbergasted by how much there was on there. Can you tie your own shoes? I mean, some of this is you're being a little overly obtuse. That one I'll agree with, though. Yeah, I kind of zoom out to make a spectacle out of it, because like I'm so shocked by it, and then I can't find the starting. Playing a game for the first time, not immediately knowing how everything works, but they still fire back. Like, nothing I mentioned has to do with it being a new game. It kind of does, though. I mean, once you know it once, you'll know what to do. Selected league, they're explaining things that you would know through time. 2 huge ass colored banners, but it doesn't matter. I didn't even care about that. Left and middle, clear, who cares? If you open, like, yeah, because clearly I played the game so regularly that the league really matters to me. Passive screen, zoomed out, relevant part. No, you just need to ignore, zoom out. You ranted about potions right after the game told you they're recharged by killing monsters. I think I was just talking about generally how, like, I'm a potion abuser. I know you're trying to keep attention by talking nonstop, but you can stop and think about things instead of blurting out words before thinking. Keep your mouth closed. Yeah, I'm the quiet gamer, by the way. Ironic. Constantly complaining. And again, I don't consider commentary complaining. Like, I'm just talking. My main complaint is at the beginning about the genre. Most of the rest of it is just running commentary. So they're assuming that if I'm talking about something, I must be complaining. Like, about the game features here before he remotely understands them, like complaining about how the life flask tutorial was bad advice because he'd waste the flask, then complaining about the mechanic. I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but I'll assume that they're right. Complaining about the mechanic of 0 cooldown spamming life flask. But see, I'm just saying that in general, not saying that you can necessarily do it in this game, but just, you know, in general, that's a bad mechanic. Like in Skyrim, that's a bad, you know, how you can spam potions without understanding the flask work, or not understanding how any of the skill gems work. You can't be bothered to read more than half the first line of anything before closing it, then subsequently complaining about how the game doesn't tell you how to do anything. I highly doubt I complain about that, because if I'm choosing not to read stuff, how am I complaining that the game's not telling me stuff? you know, I don't feel like reading everything right then and there. No offense, you like basic observation skills and critical thinking. Oh yeah, by the way, my most viewed video on my channel is me coming up with a deduction that maybe isn't that big of a deal, but it got like 50,000 views, and it's me deducing something in a game ahead of time, like something to do with the first case in Danganronpa. So evidently I have pretty good observational skills, and I've been known for playing the Ace Attorney games and stuff like that and coming to good deductions and conclusions. So it's a weird flex, but I could use that here. Like, watching an 8-year-old play the game for the first time, not trying to be mean, just cringy to watch. I mean, again, you don't have to watch, you don't have to like it. You're a pro gamer. I mean, this guy was getting triggered like crazy. Holy shit. How is it possible to think about so much about nothing, running around and talking? Yeah, it's called streaming. You should try it sometime. At the same time, not paying attention to the game, skipping everything, and then wasting even more time trying to understand. I might actually do this tomorrow. Like, I'm honestly already exhausted by this. I literally can't even do this. Understand what's going on. You pretend to be an experienced player, again, of games in general, not this game, but on the video you play as a person turning the PC on for the first time. See, this is the sort of lost art of the blind playthrough, though. It's like, you're not understanding what you're really saying because you're just taking it in. You're not trying to prove anything, but I guess... And I didn't die, so apparently you can turn your PC on for the first time and beat the Brutus without dying. I'm not experienced in this game, first time playing. I like to take my time, soak everything in. I don't think anything really hurt the experience. Bite-sized session. Thought of how I played games for the first time. Played again. I'd read everything in more detail. I don't see what I skipped. I was just doing tutorial area. He's not talking about this game, but I'm only playing this game here. Right? I already know what my comments are going to be, so that's what you're talking about. You're not talking about my world's first permadeath clear of countless games, or my world's first hard mode runs, or doing GTA 4, 100% permadeath run world's first. You're not talking about all that, are you? Because you don't see that in this video, so you don't know who you're fucking talking to. Even if I didn't have that to lean on, I could just say, okay, I'm playing the game for the first time, but come on, dude. Never played a single game, zero observation, zero comprehension, basic mechanics, and yet without all that, I did just fine. Spoiler alert, the 10 acts are the tutorial. How would I have known that, though? You don't start the game until you finish the 10 acts. Like, of course, I should just know that. Okay, I'm only playing this game. Painful to watch. Like, okay, dude. His audacity to say he's been playing for decades, I call BS. No one who plays this poorly and lacks this awareness virtually everything. New doesn't mean terrible when someone has actually played a game before has been... Well, I haven't played this genre, I guess, that much either, if you were to use that. Figure out things extremely fast. What happens when I click this button? Oh, it attacks. I move like this. Let's see what happens when I use the flask. Oh, I can't use it on full life. Oh, I can use it when I'm injured. It's like you can be hypercritical of anybody in this sense. Like, I'm just talking as I go along. Basic observation, like, I'm doing fine. And he probably thinks we're all just mean to him. I don't mind people making videos and such, but don't try to defend this absolute trash gameplay. I mean, but see, that's the thing. I don't have to say I'm experienced. I've been playing for decades. I mean, literally true, but then you've been playing Super Mario Brothers for decades and nothing harder. Well, those games can be hard at times. It's a gameplay preference. I just play differently than others, especially when playing for the first time. You're mixing up intent and ability. I didn't realize the egos of this player base are so fragile that they must pick on the oh, this is pretty well written. The low-hanging fruit of somebody literally playing the game blind for the first time. It doesn't prove anything one way or the other. How about you try to do a world first clear or a world record speedrun or something of actual merit? It's only, and I'm not even using myself in there, I'm just saying, it's only the only satisfaction you can get to pick on someone playing the game for the first time and using hindsight to do it. What does it prove? Yeah, egos. My point is you're dumb. Okay, so I am dumb. So what? Like, you argue like how women argue. Really, dude? We all made specific articulate points. Well, it's not intent when you're literally narrating your stupidness and inability to see things. This argument proves you don't understand what people are even talking about. You don't further need to comment. Then he does keep commenting. Tells me everything I need to know. You're just a bad gamer who's only ever played easy and non-challenging games, even though literally I'm known as a hard mode gamer, dude. Even though, again, I'm not saying I succeed at every one. I failed thousands of runs too, but at least I try them. They don't force you to develop any critical thinking skills. It's a little bit different, though. It's an ego thing because clearly people are getting upset that someone is simply playing a game for the first time and not playing it perfectly or exactly how they want, even extolling some sense of superiority from it. Like, I'm better than you. Even if you are, even if I'm the worst Path of Exile player ever in my first session, so what? It's not really important because the intent is not to prove anything, just to play the game. It's about intent because some people play games to beat them. Some people wander around. They like to get lost, go wherever the game takes them. Gaming is not a zero-sum experience, not like work, not like life. If I choose to pick up a quest, not to pick up a quest, maybe I'm interested in exploring a bit first and doing something else. Somebody was complaining like, oh, you missed this very important quest. Someone else might pick it up immediately. Still, some others might not pick it up ever. It's a preference. There's no right or wrong. With the whole point of gaming, the player's in control of the experience. Apparently, it's not computing. No one cares about your choices. Well, evidently, then don't watch the video if you don't care about your choices. They're talking about your blatant lack of awareness, but the awareness is tied to that. Like, you're assuming I'm not aware. Maybe I'm just, like, third time I've explained this. This guy's getting really mad. Again, the game has a learning curve. No one is saying it doesn't. We're talking about your lack of awareness and comprehension. Indeed, if you played a game for decades, you wouldn't be playing like someone who's never had a PC before. You refuse to stick to the top and keep changing it to ego. Means you are not that bright, willfully dense. You simply lack basic problem-solving skills. But this isn't a problem-solving game. It's a hack-and-slash game. I've watched hundreds of YouTubers play for the first time, and none of them lack basic problem-solving skills. If we were, did any of them die in this part of the game? Because I sure didn't. If we were trolling you, we wouldn't take time to articulate the issue. You just want to be offended. You could have just said, yeah, I lack awareness. But you decided to defend, I'm not a modern gamer. I've played games for decades, which is true. I mean, that part. I'm calling bullshit. Maybe you played games in the loosest sense, but you probably weren't good at them. And again, that's an ego thing, because who cares if you're good at them? Like, assuming you're always playing something to prove something. It's people who are skilled in games. Like, who is this guy? Who? And I don't mean to attack him either. But, like, you must be the best gamer ever, because I don't get it. You have a decent amount of subs, actually. It must be one big video. Super beam. Okay. But no, again, I don't want to personally attack either back, but it doesn't matter that much. Maybe you play games in the loosest sense who are skilled, usually good at newer ones. It's okay to say, you can say whatever you want, but no one is fooled. But fooled in what way? Like, what am I trying to prove? Those are my choices. Saying something over and over doesn't make it accurate, and it's assuming intent, which I've said a number of times now too. You assume I'm trying to do what you think I should, what may be optimal, what may be intended by the game. I did what I wanted to do. You're a pro gamer. We're all delusional. You do appear to have trouble actually addressing what I'm saying, which is simply that if you do a world's first clear, something that has no one else has done before, you're a good player. Otherwise, you're just a player like me, like ordinary average people. And we're talking about your lack of awareness, general skill. One of us has a comprehension problem, and based on multitude playing the same things, not you. That is true. There are a lot of people saying it. Okay, but that has nothing to do with the brief blind first playthrough of a game. There would be no way to determine from this. Even if I concede your point, so what does it prove? I even pose a hypothetical that I'm the worst Path of Exile player ever. Based on this first session, would that satisfy you? What does it matter? It doesn't change my objective criticism of the genre. It didn't hurt my experience because I enjoyed the session. And most of what people are saying is either hindsight or even things they concede I could easily figure out if I wanted to, or it took a bit more time, which I didn't have here. You keep saying the same thing over and over when your standard is low, and it's pointless. You think I'm bad, we get it. Point of the video wasn't to show that I'm good, it's just to play the game for the first time. Standard, and by my standard, nothing in the video would indicate whether you're good or bad. I'm sure the problem is, I'm not sure the problem I'm a good or bad player, but the fact that you talk way too much as the quiet gamer, and at the same time you don't read anything. Review your video again. How many times did you say... But see, I don't say it in a negative way. Like, you don't know what to do on the league selection screen. Everything's written standard sanctum. But for that, you'd necessarily speak less, understand what's reading. But it's more like whether you care. Like, it didn't matter to me what league I was choosing. And not read mechanically because too much absorbed by his blog. Then I like how I've gotten that reputation as talking too much as somebody who historically didn't do that. Then you start on the beach and pop-up says you skip the pop-up, spend time, a lot of time not understanding what you, but I think I understood everything just fine because I got through exactly the part I was trying to get through. Like, it's not a puzzle solving game. Like, it is the kind of game you could face roll, at least in the combat sense. The game says use your bottle and you say they're wrong, and 30 minutes later you read the text on the bottle and understand, as if you should understand everything right away. Like, you'll learn stuff over the course of the game. For any developer seeing a player like you, I don't understand. But again, I'm not using that as a criticism. I don't say the game is bad because of that. I'm just acknowledging, like, okay, I'll figure it out later. When we spend a huge time of writing, I don't like always reading everything though. Right, I don't want to have everything spelled out for me either by the game or by, guides or external resources. Just leave it. You're right, but the guy is deluded. But He thinks we're judging him for being bad, even though they are saying that. We're all saying it's not about skill, but it's not about reading, but that's a choice. I could choose not to read. I want to do a run where I don't read anything in the game. Zero focus on what's going on, even trying to play, but yet it didn't cost me dying or, you know, the fact that he doesn't get it, it's terrible to watch. Zero comprehension, no empathy with his audience. I'm also the same person who spent entire first episodes reading flavor text, like The Witcher. So I was in a hurry in the session, as it was hours 5 to 8 of an 8-hour stream where I played something else in front of it, like DayZ or something. Rust, maybe, I can't remember, for the first time. And I wasn't in the mood to play like that. Is that allowed? Didn't hurt my experience with the game. It's my style of play. Alternative is I sit there reading every last bit of flavor text. So I'm sorry that I didn't read enough text in a game that isn't a story game and isn't a puzzle solving game or something like that. It's a combat focused game. So I'm sorry that I mostly did combat in my first session of playing a combat focused game. And people complain about that too. Did The Witcher. I thought I said somewhere here, like, my audience is whatever I want it to be. I kind of like that quote. Like, you know, people can complain, enjoy the game, ignore the haters. Exactly. But I want to revel in it a little bit here. I'm watching the game. Oh my god. And I think I said that. Thanks. These are some good tips, but I didn't really read them. I'm just being nice, but like, I don't want to be spoiled. I don't want to know all these things. I don't want advice. So I'm glad you finally shared your playthrough. How does he know I posted it so late? Like, finally. I'm new to your channel. Hope to see more. Well, I guess you'll finally get PoE 2 here, but you know, it is what it is. I like that you're focused on defense. Okay, I'm not even gonna read it now. You're being too nice. I want to read the hate. So painful to watch. Dude plays like an idiot. Like, who talks so much about things they hate about a game without actually playing the game? I did play the game though. I should probably say. Like, you barely pay attention to the game and talk about stuff you don't like. Sounds like you don't need to play them. You obviously don't like them. I don't like the premise of them, sure. Like, you just follow directions and read. Hell, didn't even read the first time playing the game. But common sense helped me with most things. You don't have that either. And then you said you don't even play the standard mage. You didn't even play the standard mage. You picked a witch. Well, what does that mean? Then you said you didn't even play the standard mage, but you picked a witch. Well, I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, seriously, basic things you did not do. You're painfully wrong. I can talk about the genre broadly, objectively, completely separate from my own gameplay and preferences. It makes no sense to say without actually playing the game, what else am I doing in the video? What you were doing wasn't actually playing the game, nor understanding it. I'm just playing it wrong. Again, I look at the first time I play the game often. I swear the decisions you're making showed you weren't truly playing the game. Hey, if you feel you were truly playing the game, then go for it. Basically, I'm playing the game wrong in your opinion. You are playing like you don't know how to play the game or how to play games. Like, who doesn't see an exclamation and think maybe I should check that? But you do. But maybe, again, I will do it later. Like, I'm playing like an open world game, which obviously it's not, but too much talking, not much thinking. That's Gukesh's line against Dina that my friend joked about, like, talk less, think more kind of mentality. Because he doesn't really talk a lot, Gukesh, world champion, congrats. But again, I like that they're defining all the worth from a first session of a game. Maybe you shouldn't use that as an excuse, but like, what does it really matter? And again, the same person is doing a permanent the first playthrough, and they're not dying. So what more do you want? The worst player ever would have died multiple times, or you know, whatever, something like that. But no, like the exclamation mark, like I'll get around to it eventually. You're assuming intent. Once again, I'm not trying to do every quest, or I'm not trying to do it right then. I'll do it later. I'll explore. I'll do other things. First half an hour, I was hoping real hard for someone to tell him to press Z, which like shows all the items, I guess, around like everything that's pick upable and stuff. You are really the worst player I've seen. It looks like you don't have experience with RPG games at all. I mean, different kinds of RPGs, not ARPGs as much. You really miss basic mechanics like clicking on the big, like, see, same thing. Like, I know that, but who's to say that you want to do every quest right then and there? On the map, or using, you see, you're assuming like, oh, he's trying to do that but failing, not just that he's doing something different. Or using the map to better navigate. I don't like using maps too much. A no map run. Not running against walls and just run deeper into the map and always through places where you've already been. Like I'm just exploring around, playing like an open world game. Don't complain about the game. I never said it was too confusing, dude. I didn't complain about anything aside from the genre at the beginning. It's just you not having any basic RPG gameplay. However, hope you keep it up so you can keep complaining about it. Use Z. Yeah, we got the item filter. Jesus Christ, modern. This guy was just absolutely. It's the same guy, right? from before. He just lost his mind. Jesus Christ, modern gamer dog shit. Not a modern gamer, has been playing games for decades. Blind first playthrough, also permadeath. If there's a high standard, it means if a player dies, the playthrough ends. You are mistaking a thorough, deliberate pace for being bad. Is a player supposed to be good at the game first time playing or during the tutorial? Also, why does it matter? I didn't die. Is it supposed to be a speedrun? No. Is it supposed to be barred knowledge, metagaming experience? No. You're mistaking ability and intent. I judge things by the result. Again, my only goal is to not die, which I didn't do, even if it's the first session and a weird flex. Okay, let's just get through these. I don't usually leave comments, but the way you play has irritated me in a way I didn't think was possible. Your comprehension skills need work. First, you say you played other ARPGs. Again, I don't mean I play them a lot, though. Don't know what a league is? I don't. I still don't know what a league is. Like, why does it matter? It had zero impact on my playthrough at all. So why are people getting so caught up on the league thing? You then get into the game and completely ignore tutorials while complaining. I don't think I'm complaining. I think people misframe my commentary. I generally enjoy. I'm doing just fine. I don't think I'm complaining that I can't figure anything out. I'm just doing what I feel like. You comment about how it's your first time playing, but you have no patience. I have plenty of patience. I spent 4 hours just doing Brutus alone. That's plenty. Isn't that slow enough? Zero attention span and read 2 sentences. It's almost like I'm playing an action game, so that's how you could get away with playing it. It feels like I'm watching someone who's never touched a computer before playing a game for the first time. But even those people take it slow and read through things, like how I spent 2 hours reading The Witcher. You completely missed when the first area boss changed phases, thinking that he healed because of distance. But yet I beat him just fine, so it evidently didn't matter. You're blind, it's like a blind playthrough, and have zero comprehension. Yeah, you can't smell that, haha. I could pick on you if I wanted. You completely miss when the first, it's kind of a fast-paced boss fight. You're in the middle of it, so maybe you won't understand everything. Watching you deal with the passive tree, with the skill tree was kind of funny because I lost track of where it was. I had a good time, didn't die. Thanks for watching. He doesn't listen, really thinks he's a decent gamer. Once again, the ego thing comes out. Like, you're defining me by this one session. So if I played it how you wanted, I'm the best gamer ever in my first session of a game, which really doesn't matter. Like, it wouldn't be impressive. Which is why he's fighting with people. But again, I'm willing to have the conversation. I don't consider it fighting. Your standard is laughably low. You cannot judge someone based on first playthrough, first session of a game. Even if I played it perfectly, it would prove nothing. I'm kind of repeating what I'm saying here without even reading it. Like, I just know how I think. How about a world first clear? How about doing something no one has done before? That would prove something, not this. I'm not even acknowledging the point, as it would be utter folly to draw inference one way or another based on playing a game for the first time. There are levels to meritocracy and having standards. This would be the lowest bar ever. You're a pro gamer. At no point did I say or suggested you're putting words in my mouth. On the contrary, I have only made the point that whether someone's good or bad at a game or in games in general, nothing in this session would indicate that. Any reasonable standard would require that someone does a world's first clear, etc. As I mentioned, to be considered good or accomplished. Everything else is negligible. I don't care anymore. I understand you have the need to have the last word, which I guess I do here. Have it again. Actually, I believe it's something worth discussing. A long-form pause to it. I have given your comments fair respect and consideration. Always willing to have a discussion. I'm even willing to look back on the discussion like I'm doing here. So it's just a difference of opinion. Like, I'm not even saying like I'm right and these people are wrong, but think about what you're really saying. Like, none of this matters. Like, you're not proving anything, right? I didn't prove anything with the session. I didn't do anything that impressive. Unwillingness to do so as a concession. As a comment someone has no coherent rebuttal to follow with. I've described my standard nature of my session. If your only angle is to inject a different standard, then I've said it's preferential. Sanctum Lead was like 1 billion years ago. A good catch. This was from earlier this year. Didn't get around to uploading it. Not really relevant. I only go as far as Brutus, which I keep bringing that up. Like, I wasn't trying to beat the game in like one session. Get the impression you're terribly ignorant. At some point, you learn how to highlight items lying on the ground, and then you don't use it. Yeah, because sometimes I don't like using mechanics that spoon feed everything. You say you play Diablo, and you miss waypoint several times by activating it. Running around the exclamation marker, incomprehensible. Again, maybe you're trying to do it later, but they obviously have hindsight that they know that it must be a big quest. It gives you a good item or something. And not clicking on it even out of curiosity. You're wandering around the location, which I even say I'm trying to play like an open world game or something. Avoiding large markers, it's a shock for me. Overall, your gameplay style looks like that someone playing a game for the first time in their life. What a great comment. You're right. Looks like someone who is playing a video game. He means like games in general, but no, I am playing it like that on purpose. That's what a blind first playthrough is to me. You should play it like you've never played it before, and really soak it in. Apart from all this, I don't understand how you can read something works and and then wonder how it works or why it doesn't work even though you read about it a while ago, or when you use a portal scroll saying it works both ways and then you don't use it. I mean, sometimes I will just choose not to use certain mechanics if I feel like they make it too easy or whatever. I always impose certain rules like that. I won't mention that you forget, but again, you're assuming intent and a zero-sum process. I won't mention that you forget about the map. It's not that you forget, you choose not to use it. Helps you plan your way. You play Diablo and you sell unidentified items that may be useful. And at the beginning, you notice, yeah, it has like identify scroll thing as well, I guess. Notice there's an identification scroll. You are really ignoring a lot of the things that you yourself are talking about, and explaining that it's your gaming style doesn't explain that you ignore the fundamentals of gameplay in this type of game. It's like playing racing games, but not racing because I like to drive slowly. But see, I could do that. I could absolutely get away with doing that as long as I still, well, in that context, I don't lose or I don't die. In my opinion, if you want to record such videos, you need to put a little more effort into it, or at least not mention that you have experience in this type of game. I didn't really say it like that, though. I think a lot of people misunderstood that. Just because I played those games like briefly 1 or 2 times doesn't mean that I, have played them a lot, because it's obvious that this experience is less than 0. You may get the impression that you completed the first task in Diablo and that was the end of the game. I love watching new players Path of Exile. Yes, it's a very difficult and complicated game, but I didn't think that you could ignore the fundamentals of the game so much with them in front of your eyes and still do so well and still beat Brutus. Best regards. I hope for more films, but with a little more open eyes. Don't treat my statement as anything personal. Constructive criticism. I like the way he ends that. More that I have certain preferences in how I play games. Maybe they're different from yours. Maybe I like to take my time, not do everything all at once. So can the experience, not rush it. This is very complex compared to Diablo. Okay, dude. Okay, that's more of a positive thing. Okay, are we almost done with this? Even I'm getting tired with my own comments. Holy shit, dude. How can it be this triggering to people? I love it. Okay, let's just do it. I love it. I'm not even going to play the game today. I'll do it tomorrow or something. This guy is the reason why we get so much hand-holding. This is on our ironic comment in modern games. Also, read some of the other comments. It's really impressive how someone can have such a big ego. Am I the one with a big ego and self-awareness? Zero self-awareness while still being this bad at learning and adapting. You have a lot of critique, but for it to matter, again, trying to discredit me, shoot the messenger. Be competent, or at least some rudimentary understanding, whereas I explain the genre, which has nothing to do with the game itself. Ad hominem is not an argument, it's typical, predictable. The objective observation of a genre are one thing, personal preference and style of play are another. I hate hand-holding and make an effort to play games completely blind with no advice, so clearly there's a contradiction there. The comment, like, this is why there's so much hand-holding, because, like, oh, apparently you're bad. But if I'm choosing not to read even the tooltips that the game is giving me, I clearly reject hand-holding and I'm avoiding it. So how does that even make sense? Comment about ego is interesting, as I never said anywhere in these comments that I'm especially great. Even in the video, I say my record with this genre isn't the best. Like, I failed the first playthrough permadeaths of Diablo. I guess I only did it with Diablo 1, like twice, and I did it with Diablo Immortal, but I AFK'd out, but I still died. And Diablo 4 I started, but then I never finished it. I didn't die, but I just did one session. It actually seems that the player base of the game is very egotistical in a way that's sort of ungratifying. They want to use hindsight of a game they probably played and studied for years, kind of like with chess, say, research, learned about, etc., to feel superior to someone playing for the first time, and clearly not interested in knowing everything from the start. Someone who enjoys gradual discovery and figuring things out over the course of a playthrough. Very strange that such a player would ever be described as wanting handholding. I see you've used the hindsight argument in other comments, as if not everyone who played the game started exactly where you were, knowing nothing, but they probably weren't this snarky about it, or they probably didn't know everything right away. Difference and reason why I seem to be annoyed, unwilling to learn, but over the course of a 100-hour playthrough that it would probably be if I played the whole thing, I would probably do all that, right? Why do you have to do it right away? You say that you enjoy gradual discovery, but nothing in this video demonstrates that, but that's probably what I say. Gradual would mean over the course of a playthrough. In fact, you seem completely set in your ways and completely incapable of being humble, trying to learn something new. Then you flail against people pointing this out. No, I don't feel that that's my nature of my comments. Maybe this game isn't made for you. There's other games kind of gatekeeping the whole genre. This is exactly how people are when they start playing a game blind, knowing absolutely nothing. I'm not unwilling to learn, but rather not in a hurry to learn everything right away. I like a sense of discovery and wonder, which maybe is just me, but it's always how I play things. Sometimes I will avoid reading things in the game if I feel like it gives away too much. I would rather be surprised to figure out by myself. I would play this game in a long, slow series and really take my time if I was to do it. Let's look at it like this. Nothing I did not understand caused me to die in this session. If it did, I would consider it a failure. In the next sessions of me playing the game, the same would be true. Whatever I did in this very brief and early portion of this game evidently worked. On one hand, people might say it's just Act 1, as only the tutorial, of course you shouldn't die, but on the other hand, they act like I'm playing so terribly, so you can play terribly and get this far, which isn't far at all, but it's apparently far enough that I should know a lot more according to many comments, or that it should be considered a big deal because of how passionate they are getting. You're correct, nothing in this video demonstrates the gradual discovery of figuring things out, because that would imply a log complete playthrough that would take dozens of hours, not 3. I'm experiencing a new game altogether, so that is why I'm certainly willing to learn and try something new. There's been a lot of ad hominem, which I expected, as even my title shows awareness of, but it means nothing to me. I haven't criticized anyone directly, but more just the folly of some arguments, but it simply get so upset about and draw strong conclusion. Or wait, I missed a line. Put it simply, I could say, sir, this is a first playthrough, and the first brief session at that. So if it's something to really get so upset about and draw such strong conclusions from, fair enough. I would not look at it that way. There's also a strange sense of gatekeeping. If I played the game how I wanted and enjoyed it, what's the problem? I'm not your boyfriend, so I won't be reading that. I'll answer your final question and say that you can play how you want. No one cares. Don't expect anyone to watch. You have a shitty attitude for 3 hours, even though, again, I generally enjoyed it, so I think people are misframing some running commentary as complaining, but also, it's one of my most viewed videos, so TLDR, finest argument ever. Apparently, people do want to watch this, one of my most viewed videos on the channel. People apparently love getting angry and feeling a false sense of superiority for playing the game for the first time. His comments make it funnier. You have zero self-awareness. The gall in calling others sense of superiority takes the cake. Usually when I'm playing a game for the first time, people don't get so angry about it. It seems to say more about the community, which I would stand by that. But again, it has a positive side too. I just can't get over it. This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, the amount, dude, like, all I'm doing, I mean, you can watch it for yourself. Like, I'm just playing the game, dude. Like, it's not that big of a deal. When I do badly at stuff, I talk trash all the time. Like, when I'm playing chess, I'll say I'm trash. Or, you know, if I fail a permanent run, I'll say I'm trash. You know, some false critique to a system you don't understand, people get mad over that. Usually people are nice on YouTube. You're the second person that people got mad over, watch like 30 plus. That might be true. There is maybe something about my style, but I even identify, I sort of predict that. That's fair, but the only thing I criticize is the innate nature of the genre, as I've done with other games. So oh yeah, this guy keeps straw manning that I'm criticizing stuff, and I don't even know what he's talking about. I deliver those criticisms at the beginning. It honestly has nothing to do with understanding or not understanding. That's a terrible defense, because I'm criticizing the genre as a whole, so it has nothing to do with this game particularly. I even say I enjoyed the game and thought highly of it based on my experience in the video. It's like good of its kind, good of its genre. So clearly people are being irrationally overly defensive because I criticized it on its face, on the inherent flaws, as I considered the genre itself. If it is, I'm kind of speed reading, so I might not be getting everything right, but kind of like how I was reading the flavor text apparently in the first game. It's possible for two things to be true. The genre itself can have its flaws, and some games can be buried beneath them while others can rise above them. They still exist, however. You made criticism on things that wouldn't be a problem if you had read the tutorial. I see this. I don't even count. Like, I generally wasn't criticizing stuff. Not a defense. It's the thing that happened. You didn't just criticize the genre. It does have some understanding. You wouldn't be complaining. You read the tutorial, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm treating you like the tutorial. I'm not reading you. Really enjoyed. Wouldn't be complaining. Untrue. He's getting mad. People are never just irrational on anything. Not especially literally the only one out of... Okay, that might be a fair point. I'll give you that most people don't have this reaction. But everything... have a reason. You're just in denial. A lot of your critique is something that was solved in the game. I think generally I'm not complaining. Like I said, if you look at, I'm not just even saying that in hindsight. Like, I genuinely enjoyed the session and didn't think too negatively about the game. So people are acting like I'm complaining. It's possible for it to exist, but people are not angry that you criticize the game or the genre. It's that many of your criticisms were solved, have nothing to do with discussion. People are not, I'm telling you though, people are mad at you not because you criticize the genre, even though that's literally what my history with Diablo is, and that's literally what the title was even based on, so I predicted that. which is untrue because we all saw and heard you criticize the game as well. But people are angry. Criticism, something that doesn't have exist in this game, and you would have known that just because not being in denial. You're wrong. If I seem to criticize specific elements in the game, people are overreacting because I distinctly remember enjoying it and saying it was good of its kind, and I enjoyed it. So if people are getting upset over minor gripes and running commentary, that's their prerogative. People have been irrational with me every time I play a Diablo style game because of my long-standing criticism, hence the title of this video. I respectfully disagree. People are definitely personally attacking me because of those. Trust me, it's happened before. Or it'll happen again, probably when I upload this one. Honestly, that doesn't... Maybe I should upload this separately as a precursor, but no, I'll just do the whole thing maybe together. Doesn't bother me as much as my lack of rebuttal for it. As a lack of rebuttal. Instead, they seek to shoot the messenger. Only thing I get from this is that people are being overly defensive over minor mechanical observations, preferences. Are you blind? For the 10th time, those criticisms don't apply if you had just read the tutorial. But which ones? He's not telling me. This, people get mad. This isn't people getting mad for no reason. There's a reason for everything. We all saw it in the comments. You're denying it. We're saying two different things. People are overreacting then regardless, or framing them as major criticism. It could just be giving a running commentary. So either people are mistaking as a criticism or exaggerating how big of a deal. Once again, when I explicitly said I enjoyed the experience, why does it matter? You're saying to you, or he just keeps coming back with the same thing I say. I've literally been saying you gave false criticism that makes people angry. No, it's not an overreaction. People are making stupid assumptions. It's not just a commentary. You said on multiple occasions in the comments that it's a criticism, which we all say is untrue. Most of the comments related to my opening criticism, which you agree is invalid, like the criticism of my opening point, because that's separate. You'll have to be specific about what you're referring to, because I do not believe I was very critical throughout the video at all. The whole purpose of the session was to get to know the game, and I both think highly of it and reserve judgment as well. Just a small bite-sized session. The ones passing quick and harsh judgment seem to be people in the comments in hindsight of their own longer experience with the game. What exact criticisms are you talking about? For the 100th time, he's not once said what the criticism is that he's talking about. Not all your commenters in the video is talking about your opening criticism, but I think that's what triggers them, especially when I put the timestamp like that. I literally never said that those people are invalid. A bit too much effort to comment someone who's clearly just being an idiot like you, IMO. But I trigger people because I'm willing to reasonably have the conversation. I'm not just dismissing them. I'm really literally having the conversation all the way. And then they want to do it, but then they get mad. Doesn't even sound like English. Wait, what? But someone who's also giving you genuine tips. My man, you literally said on multiple occasions in the comment section that you were giving criticism. Mainly, I'm talking about since you're saying it's my words, I can tell you what they mean, like about the genre itself. That's mainly what I criticize. Obviously means you're being critical, yes, about the genre. Reserve judgment's my ass. If that were the case, people wouldn't be pissed in the first place. There's many in the video. Name one, dude. I won't go back 4 hours. One on top of my head, mentioned in the comment. Which one? In the video before you go to Mudflats, you criticize the game by saying you can't level up in other areas so that you can progress. You can't not realistically double negative. If you played RPGs any game, I don't know what this criticism even is. I even say it in the video that generally you're picking on every little minute negative thing I say. Like, relax, dude. They're being overly defensive. 8 days for you to be 10 levels over the act boss if you're just playing casually. So obviously most people rather like somehow over leveling, rather get good and try to understand the game, unlike you because you're ignorant. And another commenter at one point says you complained about how it's flawed for the game to have a tutorial that makes you use flasks. You're about to die. The tutorial only appears when you're about to die. You could see some of this I might genuinely have misunderstood, but that's fine. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. They're taking like any sort of minor comment as an absolute, like I'm just hating on the game. And you also get your eyes, and you know that every time you kill an enemy, a flask refills. Yeah, I didn't notice that. I'll acknowledge it. You also I thought you would just use it as much as you want, or you had to buy them or something. At the beginning, always. You also criticize that you can just spam flasks, but yeah, I was wrong about that. No cooldown, I get it. They only refill when you. That point I even agree with. I was wrong about that, but that's why you play and you learn and all this kind of stuff over time. Let's see what we got. I mean, I hope I'm almost done because I'm getting sick of this. But reading is hard. But look at how much I did more reading in the comments of this video than I did apparently in the game. It is when you're like me and you enjoy reading every last bit of text in the game. Also want to make some amount of progress and you only have a few hours to play the session. This guy was kind of nice, I think, in the end. I'm glad the community is so passionate. I'm sure they'd enjoy a full playthrough where I read baited, but I never did it. That's how I normally do things. I'll admit I was snarky dickhead towards you. That's fine. See, I like this guy though because. But not gonna lie, it's rough watching when you mouse over text. But as you said, playing a game on stream is different, and I don't like using that as an excuse, the fact that I'm streaming it. But whatever, like at least time constraint. I understand I always hate using streaming as an excuse, but at least my very intent was to make a certain amount of progress, such as beating Act 1 or at least Brutus. If he isn't the final boss, I don't even know that much, so I didn't take as much time reading as I would normally like in another session. What's funny is I had a hilarious session where I played the original Witcher for the first time and people were complaining because I love this, I always use this in the lore of my channel. My first episode was me just standing there reading flavor text for like 2 hours because the game gives you so much at the beginning. The difference is it's a dedicated series where I was playing it on a regular basis. This was a standalone where I opened the door for making a regular series, but I haven't done so yet, and I still haven't done so. I love the first Witcher jank combat and all. Oh yeah, I have a really dumb moment at the beginning of that too where I don't understand that it's like an auto attack system. I enjoy watching people take their time rather than feeling like they gotta rush it. I'm sorry, you seem like chill. See, I like this guy. He comes around and what a stupid title. Why? Oh yeah, such a stupid title. I'm totally not considered a hater of the genre or something based on the comments. Lol. Why? I have a history of being called a Diablo hater, as explained in the video. Put it simply, I've been critical of the genre of games numerous times over the years, and my channel art is partly inspired by that. It's more so inspired by the fact that it was the first one that I played in the permadeath first playthrough format in 2016. I don't know what this does. Doesn't read it. Probably some passive thing. No, that's fair, but it's also I normally do, but isn't it more fun to try using it for hands-on? But you didn't use it. You put it back in the inventory. That's fair. Personally, it's much more interesting seeing someone read something, learn the complexities of the game. Oh, I see, I can use it for XYZ, guessing. That's just you. But see, that's just one moment. I can acknowledge that, but it's not the end of the world. I'll figure it out eventually. That's fair. I'm not saying I use it properly. Just in principle, I tend to avoid reading too much aside from flavor text. It was so early in the game. I was playing it very raw, just wanting to play. Certainly, as the playthrough goes on, I would be much more thorough. No, read, at least trying to. But see, that's my choice. I'm choosing not to read. Babies figure out stuff with no instructions. Who has the time to watch an adult act like a toddler? Know your audience. Yeah, this is the line. My audience is whatever I want it to be. I play games how I choose, not how others tell me to. Maybe next time I'll turn it into a reading simulator, which has commonly been my style, and watch people complain about that too. 280. I love this. This is my favorite comment probably of all time. The 288 subs checks out. No one wants to watch an idiot fumble around after purposely closing all tutorials and not reading anything, as if that couldn't be a choice. I want to do a no reading run, not the game for you. 288 subs. That was pretty good. I was pretty happy about that. I'm at like 330 now, but it's like he doesn't realize what that means. I've done content online for like 10 plus years, and I never had that many subs because I normally didn't post stuff to YouTube. So like he's saying that like is a negative. 288 checks out. That's good. I'm happy with that. Like, what do you mean? That was awesome. To get 288, like he's looking at it from such a sad, cynical perspective. That's a good thing. I'm happy with that. It's too many water in this video. You come to test the game and see mechanics and all over. Stop speaking so much water. I have no idea what that means. Maybe just I'm talking too much. Why did this guy spend 2 hours walking back and forth before the final clip, or not understanding support jumps because he skipped the tutorial in the first 5 minutes? It's painful. Thanks for watching. Total 2 hours anyway. All things considered, none of that hurt my experience. I enjoyed the session. I watched the whole thing and enjoyed it, but did spend some time yelling at the monitor. It's the exclamation point. By the way, in the case no one has helped, Active Gem. See, I don't want to know this. I'm not reading it. Anytime something can help me. Too much talking, not much thinking. You copy the other guy's comment. Just read the things. The two aren't mutually exclusive. This guy does not read anything and expects the game to do everything for him. But see, this is a contradiction. I guess I pointed out. I don't have to come up with my own take. I can just read my comment. I don't expect the game to do anything. If I did, I would have read it and relied on it telling me what to do. That is a contradictory statement. I don't read it, but I expect the game to do stuff for me. If I expected the game to do stuff for me, then wouldn't I be more likely to read it? Incredible, the shit-talking person that no look in the mini-map and doesn't... and look into map, and second later forget what he searches for. Not even notice gold objects, and maybe more interesting than white ones. Oh, like the rarities, I guess. Path of Exile 2 will have WASD movement. Interesting that you should mention that. Wonder when that's coming out as an additional option for movement. But people were saying that like with this game too, that you didn't have to use the mouse just to move. Okay, are you almost done, dude? Oh my god, there's too many, and I want to read them all, but I may as well just do it. God, it's painful to hear your opinion on things you have no understanding of, but try to make it sound like you know a thing about ARPGs. You just make assumption after assumption, telling it like it's truthful. I do have a tendency to do that. I can sound like I know exactly what I'm talking about, even when I don't. People would say that in the debate format, like, and I'm coming up with like a new concept that I'm discussing for the first time, and it's like, wow. It sounds like I've talked about it for years. The talent tree, because like you're not saying it from a personal perspective, you're saying it from a analytical, like as a thought process. It's hard to explain. The talent tree was in the beginning, it didn't get bigger due to updates, so I couldn't have known that though. Energy shield is not exploitable. I mean, hey, you don't know who you're talking to. Life and mana potions are not exploitable. In fact, rather weak. For the love of God, if this is all the intelligent capacity you can muster, read the tutorial. Yeah, because I haven't upgraded my intelligence on my witch character yet, so it is all the intelligence I can muster. It's made for you. You're not smart enough to figure the game out, and yet I was able to do just fine without that. You first say I'm stating opinion, then you claim it's being stated as the truth. Give your opinion, I guess, as if it's truth, which is it then? It's not about being smart. I have a long-standing position on the genre, generally been backed up. Even if Path of Exile was the exception to the pitfalls of the genre, it doesn't mean the objective criticisms are unfounded. Quantity over quantity, enemy encounters, items, upgrades, enemies, RTS perspective of games where you generally control a single unit, those characteristics are facts. That does not mean each game is bad, but those aspects are irrefutably present. I didn't die, so it apparently didn't take a genius to get through this very early and easy part of the game. This comment section aged well. What a terrible YouTube recommendation. I mean, fine with me. I'm not the one who controls that. People evidently liked it too, because it got so many likes is the reason why, you know, it gets suggested in the first place. For a decade, PoE community welcomed and supported a lot of awesome content creators, and then after a decade, they became dicks, I guess. Some stayed, some moved on. Refreshing to see an idiot play this game. Amazing. There are people, yeah, this is one of my favorites too. There are people who beat the game in the amount of time it took me to kill Brutus, but also I'm rushing and not reading all the flavor text. Talks about WoW the entire time. I know the exact type of classic WoW boomer this is. Well, welcome to Path of Exile. Maybe if you keep playing, you will make it to yellow maps and you might even kill a boss. I guess I killed Brutus, counts as a boss. It's not a speedrun. What's wrong with WoW? Blizzard, who made the game, were the fathers of the genre, the original Diablo. Like, the point being exactly that, though. Some people are saying, oh, I'm rushing and skipping all the tooltips. He's also saying I'm playing too slow. And I only killed Brutus, and people have beaten the game in that much time, so am I playing too slow or am I playing too fast? This is incredibly painful to watch. PoE isn't a casual game. Watch me turn it into one. But the lack of paying attention, subsequently blaming the game, I don't think I really do that, but people misframe my commentary. Just because I'm talking about something doesn't mean I'm criticizing it or complaining. I don't really think I blame the game much. I acknowledge certain aspects seem quite complicated. That does not mean in my first time ever playing that I want to read everything right away. I mainly just want to try the gameplay and generally enjoy the experience. Diablo would be a better fit. This is the guy who misunderstands the title. Like, when I'm saying Diablo hater, it doesn't mean just Diablo. He's so dumb, it's not even funny. I find it pretty funny how people react to it, at least. But he wasn't paying attention to anything. Huge exclamation point. No, I actually read it right. Huge explanation point. They're on your screen for 10 minutes. How can't you see it? Saying going in blind is more fun than complaining. I don't think I'm complaining, dude. I'll even tell you I didn't dislike the experience. Like, I hate this sort of misframe. You're saying I'm complaining, but I don't think I was. That you can't understand anything is kind of dumb. Next time you play, give yourself 10 minutes, go through the tutorial. Fair enough, but I wasn't really complaining. I enjoyed the experience. Full inventory, let me sell some stuff. Closes the window, reads, trade was canceled, moves along. Something is off with this dude. Never seen a more obnoxious playthrough of anything ever. Burping and being gross throughout. This is the second guy who mentioned that. And this is just the first part. Like, at some point I facepalm. I start even being a bit of a troll. The top-down third person means RTS. There is no RTS, therefore it doesn't make sense. It's a moronic take. It's an accurate historical footnote to connect it to, thus lacking depth and justification for it, leading directly to quantity over quality in both enemy types. This is like the best response to a comment like this. Like, you're breaking down objectively in great detail why You're saying that, right? Top down RTS is, and this is not RTS, so that means it's moronic take. And I'm giving such an in-depth response, right? Treating it with such respect. I'm not just dismissing it. It's an accurate historical footnote. It lacks depth and justification for it, leading to both a very true statement, quantity over quality in both enemy encounters and itemization. Even fans of the game would acknowledge that by even telling me, you are the reason shampoo has instructions. I wouldn't read them anyway, just like I wasn't reading the tooltips in here. Painful to watch, hardcore first play though. Okay, dude. Okay, so do I even have the energy to play this right now? I guess I should always do some of it. Yeah, these are my most recent videos. I felt like that was worth doing because this is just something that's kind of been so... That's my most polarizing video besides the other, like the WoW one that's like... What's it called? It's... like, he was right, but that's not what it's called. It's like... WoW Classic... I can't remember what the thing was. It's my most viewed video. I could just go here and look at it. Lifetime, or no, it's not. World of Warcraft Classic showed why we can't have nice things. And that is going to be... You literally said nothing in this video. I wish I could say nothing and get 30, 40,000 views then like that. I'll say nothing all the time. But no, this is a situation where this one got like 600 likes, so like 200 dislikes. And so those are the two that have like the most polarizing amount of comments and stuff. So, okay, maybe I'll play a little bit here, at least make my character and stuff. I'll upload this too along with it just to show my intent to trigger people, I guess.